Learn how to attract and treat personal injury patients for increased profits, all from the comfort of your computer. Hi, I'm Dr. Paul with Chiropractic Personal Injury Marketing. Let me share with you the top 3 reasons you should be treating personal injury patients. Number 1 is personal injury patients make more money than in almost any other type of category of patient. A personal injury case typically will settle, or the chiropractic's case value can be up to $3,000 or more depending on your state. Now, you'll also get more treatments per patient when the treatment protocols are being reduced by major medical insurance companies. You'll still get a certain amount of treatments for the personal injury patients, and typically that's 2 or 3 times as much as, say, a major medical injury patients. So you'll actually need less new patients, do the same amount of work, and make double or triple the amount of money. The third reason is there's really no competition, and a lot of people don't understand that 67% of personal injuries are soft tissue cases. So there's a huge opportunity. There's a lot of cases that are available out there, and only 32% of the cases actually see chiropractors. So with a good marketing program, that's almost 2/3 of these soft tissue injury cases that are available. Now, I found that there's 3 main problems with chiropractors dealing with personal injury. Number 1 is the marketing component. Most chiropractors do not know how to market and attract personal injury patients. The second problem that I found is documentation. Most chiropractors have no idea how to objectify and quantify personal injuries. And the third component that I found that's a problem is case management. Many chiropractors do not know how to base the treatment protocol on the science of 3 phases of healing, and that's what determines how you get paid. Now, what I've done is I've created a solution for this, and so what we've created is internet-based personal injury workshops, and what they include is there are 12 weekly workshops on personal injury, and their case management. They also include case management presentations, and it's given over Skype. It's given over the internet and Skype. So literally, it's from your office. You can literally watch it from your home or your office. And it includes recorded video sessions. So if you miss sessions or to get you up to speed, you can just go to the recorded sessions. It includes live case presentations, and it includes live questions and answers. Now, we train you weekly live on the internet in the comfort of your office. Now, how to attract, document, and treat personal injury patients to increase your profits for the same amount of work. As an example, you take an average major medical case that might be around $800, where an average personal injury case will easily be $2,500 or more. In other words, almost 3 times as much revenue for essentially the same amount of documentation and work. Now, there's 7 personal injury models that 7 personal injury categories and modules that I've put together. These are the categories in the modules. There's a clinical module, there's a documentation, a Colossus or financial driver module, there's an impairment rating module, then there's one on depositions and court testimony, then there's one specifically on marketing, and then there's the personal injury forms. Now, in the clinical component, these are some of the major categories that we cover. Number 1 is how to objectively document personal injuries, and then also how to use computerized mensuration analysis. And then the 4 stages of personal injury case management, the 3 phases of personal injury healing, the best personal injury biomarkers, and how to determine permanency of an injury and how to determine future care. These are some of the major components of personal injury, clinically speaking. Now, from a documentation standpoint, the workshops include how to establish the mechanism of injury, how to handle pre-existing conditions, how to use functional capacity indexes, how to use impairment indexes, how to document the physical examination, how to write SOAP notes, how to write narrative reports, and that's very important, the 4 pillars of personal injury documentation, and how to stop IMEs, independent medical examinations, document the care so that you get paid, and how to document the need for treatment. So those are the documentation components that we include in the 12 workshops. Now, we'll also include what's called Colossus, or the financial drivers. So I explain what Colossus is, how Colossus works, the top 5 financial drivers, how to document the financial drivers, how to include the financial drivers into the narrative reports, Also, how to explain colossus to personal injury attorneys. Most of my chiropractors are amazed that the majority of personal injury attorneys are not real knowledgeable on the financial drivers of colossus, especially the soft tissue component. And then we also will cover one of the categories of impairment ratings, the difference between an impairment versus a disability, how to use the AMA guides to impairment, how to give impairment ratings, more importantly, the top 5 impairment ratings. In other words, the 80% of the injuries that you'll see over and over and over, how to do those impairment ratings. Now, I'll also cover depositions and court testimony, how to prepare for pretrial conference, the documentation necessary for depositions, diagnostic tests necessary for depositions, how to explain permanent injuries in a deposition or to a jury and win the depositions or a trial by jury, and then also how to mitigate the defense attorney attack. Now, the marketing component or the marketing module will include personal injury marketing, and that's all based on the S-curve. All marketing is based on the S-curve. Now, we'll go over the best sources of personal injury marketing. We'll go over the #1 marketing component that gives the most amount of personal injury referrals, and that's the personal injury attorney educational sales presentation. In other words, how to talk to an attorney and how to get him to give you a referral on the spot and continue to get his referrals. We'll go over internet marketing for personal injury, medical doctor personal injury marketing, insurance adjuster personal injury marketing, and that's a very good source is the insurance adjuster. That's an untapped area. And then also personal injury attorney video newsletter. Now, we'll also cover these forms, the personal injury forms, most of the major forms that you're going to need to process personal injury cases, which include the patient history and questionnaire, the accident questionnaire, the functional capacity indexes, the impairment indexes, attorney liens, any HIPAA forms, the treatment plans, verification of PIP Med-K or verification of auto liability, and we'll cover the SOAP note format, how to do proper SOAP notes and documentation. Now, these are some of the results of some of my consulting clients, and you can see here these are the results after actually 90 days of using the consulting that I offer. And you can see here, and this is annualized over 1 year. So these doctors have increased their gross profit up from, you can see here from the top of 146,000, 132,000, 167,000, 187,000, 182,000. And they did all of this, and this is annualized over a year, and they did all of those increases in profits in less than 90 days. Now, why should you consider my personal injury marketing? Well, I've opened 77 chiropractic offices in 20 states, seeing over 600,000 patient visits, the largest chiropractic provider in that category. As a speaker in 3 chiropractic colleges on marketing, Logan College, Parker College, and Texas Chiropractic College. My testimony resulted in the largest personal injury civil verdict in the county, and that verdict was against 2 medical doctor testimonies. I'm the only chiropractor to actually beat the United States Department of Justice in the court of law with a trial by jury. And I presently serve as an expert witness. Now, the investment includes these 12 weeks of modules. There's 7 specific categories of personal injury models. So the 7 categories of personal injury models are the clinical component, the documentation, colossus, financial drivers, impairment ratings, depositions, court testimony, marketing, and personal injury forms. And it takes about 12 weeks going through all that information. Now, the investment also includes the 12 internet-based weekly personal injury workshops. Now, those include case management presentations where you can actually even bring a case management and we'll help you structure it. Now, it is based on the internet, and we use Skype, so we talk face-to-face, and we use webcams. It also includes recorded video sessions, so if you miss a session for whatever reason, you still have access to the video recordings. And we do live case presentations as well as live questions and answers of maybe personal injury cases that you're presently doing or dealing with. Now, You can see here the normal cost for seminars, and chances are you've already been to several seminars, and including travel. If you were to go to a clinical seminar, the cost of a clinical seminar, and you can see here that I just put down some average costs of seminars at $295, and that's certainly a very average to below average cost for a seminar. So if you add up the a clinical seminar, a documentation seminar, the Colossus Financial Driver seminars, if you did an impairment seminar, if you did a seminar based on depositions and court testimony, if you did a marketing or how to use the personal injury forms, also if you include airfare, and also I just included one airfare at $350 instead of multiple airfares, and I included one hotel and 2 nights, not multiple nights in multiple hotels, and so that exceeds over $2,565. So those would be the cost if you were to try to get all this material and spend the time and any energy actually paying individually for these seminars and traveling to these seminars. So the investment for my 12 chiropractic personal injury workshops is only 3 monthly payments of $297. That's it. That's a savings of over $1,674. Now, I do offer a 100% satisfaction money back guaranteed. And we understand you expect value for your money. And so you get my ironclad 100% money back guarantee. And what that is if after the first 2 weeks of joining, you are not totally 100% satisfied, I'll cheerfully refund every penny if you don't think it's worth the price you paid. And you can keep the getting started videos. Now, there's an additional bonus that I'm going to include, and it's the $100,000 profit practice analysis. And that's those doctors that I was talking to you about. This is the analysis on how we increase their practice over $100,000 in less than 90 days. And so what we will do is include the $100,000 profit practice analysis that I used to operate 77 chiropractic offices in 20 states and increase the profits of over 93% of my consulting clients, $100,000 in 90 days. And that sounds like it could be a grand claim, but it is factual. As a matter of fact, we will show you exactly in this practice analysis where you can increase your business profits $100,000 in 90 days, and I will guarantee it will make complete sense to you when we show you your results. So for the 12 chiropractic personal injury workshops, it's only 3 monthly payments of $297. So to start immediately, all you need to do is go to chiropracticpiworkshops.com. Go on over to chiropracticpiworkshops.com and you will immediately get started and have access to the getting started videos.